Hi there, I'm Jade.
And I'm Dave.
And together with our two pups, Bobby and Arla, little cute faces.
We travel around in our wheelchair accessible camper van called Cedar.
And together we are Wheelchair and Wanderlust. So for those that have been following our Instagram for the last, well, couple of years now, you'll know that Cedar is technically our third camper van. So for our first YouTube video and our little intro, we thought we would do a little throwback and basically talk to you about how we got into van life and talk about all our different vans that we've had and the journey so far, and then also to maybe talk a little bit about our future plans. So here we go.
So in January 2018 we purchased our first van and called it Pepper. I don't really have any idea.
I named it, and you know, Pepper is the spice of life, isn't it? So
okay. It was a long wheelbase Fiat Ducato L3 H2, and with kind of, you know, minimal building experience like DIY, plumbing, electrics. Just learned absolutely everything off YouTube. Jay turned this into this. Absolutely amazing.
it was alright.
It was amazing.
And so I started the build end of May 2018 and I finished the beginning of September, so it took about 12-13 weeks for the first build out. Reason being is I was going to be living in the van whilst I studied my master's degree down in Cornwall, and so the idea was that I'd live in the van, save on rent, and then we could travel around the south coast as well during that time. But after completing my degree and living in the van full time for a year, and with Dave coming down to spend weekends with me, we realised that quite a lot of things needed to change, specifically the layout. Just wasn't really suitable for your chair, was it? So I decided to do a complete redo, and I took everything out minus the toilet, and I did everything again. All the things I did wrong the first time round I corrected, and all those little jobs that I've been putting off for so long. You know, every van lifer knows what I'm talking about there. There was a lot of jobs, really annoying little jobs that just never seem to get done in the van. So I turned this into this, and yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out.
So once Jade had done all of that, we took our first trip and we set off for a 3-month adventure around Spain, and yeah, absolutely incredible. Never done anything like that. We had 3 months of, you know, just sun. Yeah, really nice. But whilst we were travelling around, again, we kind of found that the layout, it still wasn't right for us. We didn't have anywhere to eat our dinner. You know, we were eating on the beds every time. The shower and toilet cubicle legs were hanging out.
We didn't have any hot water either, did we?
No hot water. We did have a heater, but it was broken.
That's not my fault. I did not fit that.
Someone
else
did it.
Didn't do the gas.
So yeah, what we decided was we kind of thought, actually, we just need a complete redo.
A completely new van.
Yeah, completely new van. So that's what we decided.
So yeah, so our plan was to sell Pepper when we got back to the UK, but then we'd kind of discussed it a little bit about maybe possibly travelling America, but we'd never really had any concrete plans. We'd done the research. We knew that we wanted to get a cruise from Southampton to New York with the dogs, because with them being smaller dogs, flying can be quite dangerous, so we decided that we'd want the cruise. We knew the cruise got booked up almost like 2 years in advance, so we hadn't really like thought about it at all. And then Dave made a phone call to the cruise company just to see about it, and there just happened to be a cancellation for in 6 months time for 2 kennels, And so it was like it was almost meant to be.
Yeah, so we did it.
So we just went, okay, let's do it. And so we got back to the UK. We sold Pepper, which was a really sad sale. Yeah, that was quite hard, like selling something you'd spent so much time.
There were lots of tears on the way home.
Yeah. But then we decided that instead of buying a van in the UK, that we would buy one in America, and then after we'd been finished travelling around America, we could ship back to the UK and we could have that here.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
So we spent hours, days, weeks trying to find an RV that was suitable for us, and we eventually found one that was in San Diego. So we phoned them up. We put a deposit down. Sounds super straightforward, but it's really not. Because we are not US citizens, we don't have an address out there. It makes it really complicated. But luckily, we've got family that live out there. So we phoned them up. We said, can we use your address? And they said, absolutely.
And that made the process a lot easier.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think it would have been as straightforward.
No,
as it was
definitely
for
not.
us, anyway.
Definitely not. So yeah, we did that. So we flew out to San Diego. We were out there for a week. We got the RV completely adapted, so it had hand controls, so that I could drive it. And then we stocked it up with pans, knives, forks, bedding.
Spent way too much time in Target.
Way too much time in Target.
Hours.
Yeah. And then as we were planning on getting a cruise from Southampton to New York in June 2020, we needed the van to be closer to New York.
So, what do sensible people do? Obviously, we drove from San Diego to New York in 7 days in the middle of winter.
3,000 miles, going from 25 degrees in San Diego all the way to minus 12 in New York.
It was 13, 14, it was so cold.
Yeah.
I've never experienced cold like that. It was an amazing experience. We didn't really get to experience much of the country because it was just, we were driving 9-10 hours a day.
We saw a lot of petrol stations.
We saw a lot of petrol stations, a lot of roads, a lot of huge trucks. And Dave did all of the driving.
I did all the driving.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So we then stored the RV in Pennsylvania near our family, and we spent a couple of days in New York, and then we came back.
Yeah, a couple of days in New York, we flew back, and then basically as we landed, we kind of went into lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, we landed and then we
found out the real things about COVID.
And then obviously, with COVID spreading around the globe and no one really knowing what to do, initially we didn't think it would affect our travel plans. We thought, it'll be fine, it'll be over in a few months, like, it's not a problem. And so we kept our bookings for as long as we possibly could. But then because as everything became a bit clearer with COVID and it started to threaten our safety, both Dave and I are vulnerable, so we had to go into full isolation, and so that meant that we had to cancel our trip, which was devastating. It's something that we both have really wanted to do for a long time, was travel America, and so it was a very hard decision to make, but it was obviously definitely the right one to do. So then we had another decision, didn't we, on whether to keep the RV out in America that we just spent all the money on and got adapted, ship it back to the UK to have it here. But then there's a lot of other logistics around that in terms of changing electrical systems over and things, or sell it and do another van conversion here.
I think kind of whilst we were driving it as well, we kind of realised that, that the RV that we bought, it was huge. It had slide outs, it was 24 foot long, something like that. If we did get that shipped over here and we're driving around tiny little roads in
Cornwall,
in Cornwall and Devon and stuff like that,
Wales.
you know, we'd be completely stuck. So we kind of came to the decision that actually, you know, van life was more for us. So yeah, we decided to sell it. Also, we had the costs of storage, insurance,
all those things, which was higher for us because obviously we weren't US citizens. So
yeah, and then we also had absolutely no idea if we'd ever get out there to do it in that van. So yeah, we just decided to sell it. A really complicated process to try and sell, even more complicated than it is to buy it. But luckily, the guys at Heritage RV Storage, where the van was, they helped us through the whole process. They managed to find us a buyer,
yeah, they're amazing,
which was really hard. No one wanted to buy an RV with hand controls on, but luckily, yeah, the guys found someone. They then also shipped all of the stuff that we'd bought. They shipped it all out for us.
Like all our plates and our cutlery, our bedding and everything. So everything in this van was stuff that we'd purchased for the RV out in America.
Yeah, so it's all fitted in nice and well.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's all done. That's in the past.
Live and learn.
Live and learn. We made a lot of mistakes, but you know, that's life, unfortunately. And COVID was not anything that anybody expected to happen. So then our next step and our next decision was what we were going to do, whether we were going to wait and get another van, or whether we were going to get another RV or anything. But as much as I loved doing our last conversion, and I really, really enjoyed the process and learning all the skills, and I'm very glad I did it, because now with this van I know if anything goes wrong I have that ability to do it. But I just didn't feel comfortable doing another van, and also for like the longevity of this van's life we wanted somebody who, well, knew more what they were doing. And so we got in contact with Tom from Escape Conversions up in Lancashire, and luckily he had availability to do our van during lockdown, and so we're very grateful for him, and now we have our beautiful van.
So yeah, we picked this up in February, and yeah, he did an absolutely amazing job on it. But it's kind of just been sat on the driveway for the last 6-7 months. You know, we've done little trips here and there down to the New Forest and down to Cornwall, but it would be nice to, you know, actually get out and use it properly.
Obviously it has been a very hard and frustrating year for, well, everyone, not just us. There's been a lot of unknowns, a lot of things that we didn't anticipate happening. We sold our house back in July, and the house that we were buying fell through.
That all fell through, yeah.
And so we are now living in the van full-time / parents' sofa. And whilst we've been travelling around the last couple of weeks, we've been talking to people, and we've basically realised that there's no other better time than to travel right now. We have nothing tying us down. Work is all remote, and yeah, so that's kind of what our next plans are. We're not going to let everybody in on our actual finalised plans yet, because we don't know if they are final. With COVID obviously still being an issue, we don't want to jinx anything, and we don't know anything. That's the problem.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Like, we have a rough idea of what our plans will be, but whether that will all turn out okay, who knows. But we've been inspired by a lot of other people lately, and yeah, we just think it's like the right time to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the end of our first ever little YouTube video.
We are now.
I think our main kind of goal of doing YouTube and Instagram and all that kind of stuff is to show people that, you know, even if you are in a wheelchair or any kind of disability, that you can still get out and experience, you know, the wonderful things that this world has to offer. You can still see all the amazing sights and get to all these amazing places. So yeah, if we can kind of put that across and show you, then I think we've kind of done our job.
But yeah, I can't think anything else that we need to...
No, I think that's good. Yeah, so just want to say, you know, thank you for listening to our kind of little brief story so far.
Sorry for all the waffling.
Like I said, first ever YouTube video that we've done. So hopefully this is all right. Hopefully we'll get better at it.
A bit more comfortable talking to the camera. Yeah,
as time goes on. So yeah, stick along with us. You know, hope to, you know, follow our adventures. please click and subscribe. Check out our Instagram
at Wheelchair and Wanderlust.
at Wheelchair and Wanderlust.
And yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the road. So,
See ya.
bye.